Gentile athletes of the 60s and 70s. There were many great Gentile athletes in America during the early 70s. One of these was Jim Palmer. What a pitcher he was. He was part of a Baltimore Orioles quartet of 20 game winners. By coincidence, all four of the pitchers on that staff, Palmer, Dave McNally, Mike Cuellar, and Pat Dobson, were Gentiles. Another great Gentile athlete of this period was O.J. Simpson. He had come out of USC as the Heisman Trophy winner for 1968. Then he joined the Buffalo Bills, where the gifted Simpson burst forth with the league's first ever 2,000-yard rushing season. This was also the dawn of Monday Night Football. The star of Monday Night Football was Howard Cosell. He was neither a Gentile nor an athlete. No discussion of Gentile athletes of the 60s and 70s would be complete without Wilt Chamberlain. By the early 70s, Chamberlain's spring was gone, but he could still grab rebounds, intimidate, and dunk. Chamberlain was the first of a legacy of great LA centers. Alcindor and Bill Walton at UCLA, Chamberlain, Jabbar, and later Shaquille O'Neal with the Lakers. All of these great centers have one thing in common: they're all Gentiles. One intriguing Gentile of the early 70s was Eli Nastase, the tennis player from Romania. Virtually all of tennis's charisma since then, which is to say Jimmy Connors, John McEnroe, and to some degree Andre Agassi and the Williams sisters, can be traced to the slump-shouldered, cigarette-smoking devil from Bucharest. Nastase was a true original and a Gentile, as were all those for whom he paved the way.
You cannot be serious!
Brian Gottfried was not a Gentile, but a very good tennis player. And Spiro Agnew was a Gentile, but no athlete. This film is about Gentile athletes of the 60s and 70s. How can one ignore Roberto Clemente, the Gentile pirate, or the 72 Miami Dolphins, who went undefeated fielding an entire squad of Gentiles, or Muhammad Ali, the great Gentile boxer? In 1971, Ali fought another Gentile, Joe Frazier, in the fight of the century. A few years later, he beat George Foreman, yet another Gentile, in the jungles of Zaire to take back the title. It was not without its sad times. Brian's Song, a popular TV movie of the day, featured the bond between two Gentile Chicago Bears, the dying Brian Piccolo and Gale Sayers. The death of the Gentile Detroit Lion, Chuck Hughes, saddened many. And the era saw the career ends of some great Gentiles like John Unitas, Joe Namath, Mickey Mantle, and the great Gentile giant Willie Mays. Still, the National League was blessed with a great crop of pitchers led by the Gentiles Bob Gibson and Don Drysdale. And in the 72 Olympics, Gentile swimmers John Henkin and Steve Genter each took home 2 silver medals. All in all, the 60s and 70s were a good time for the Gentile athlete. Facial hair was flourishing, so were personalities. Flamboyant Gentiles like Reggie Jackson, Pete Rose, and Bill Lee were expressing themselves as had athletes never before, Gentile or otherwise. If the sports world was slow to absorb the social upheavals of the 60s, by the early 70s, change had taken root, and the Gentile athlete was in the middle of it all.
Back in, face the catch.